Hi, my name is Karen, and I'm here to tell you a story. I usually say to imagine that I'm sitting across from you or at the other end of the couch, but I'm outside today, so there's definitely no couch, but thank you for keeping me company. The story today is one that I wrote, and I don't have a title for it yet, so if you have an idea for one after you hear the story, please leave it in the comments below. It's a super short one, about 1,000 words, about a young mom during World War II. Here we go. The first overnight the baby and I spent out by the smokehouse was cold and damp, but someone needed to tend the embers, add the hickory chips, until the meat inside was dry enough to crack. The venison would keep us fed through the winter, and that meant we could trade or sell our ration coupons for other things we might need to keep us going until Bill came home. May, my mother-in-law, was sensible about things. She was right that the baby would keep me up through the night anyway. If I happened to drift off to sleep, which I was likely to do, the child would wake me so I could check on the smoking. It had been a hard birth. Even old Bertha said so. May had whispered to me after everyone else had gone home, "Maybe it's good Bill's not around to give you any more children just now." I'd hated her and loved her for that. The father of May's late husband, who every soul in town called Grandpa, had set a bench out by the smokehouse for me. He even made a small hammock out of an old pillowcase for me to lay the baby in. That was a kindness, but as the night rolled by, I wanted the child's warmth against me. Didn't bother to wonder whether it was for the little one's sake or my own. Each time the baby's cry pried me from sleep, I let the poor thing carry on while I checked the fire. Only after I'd done the tending did I put the wailing mouth to my breast, already leaking milk. Near dawn, I was so darn tired I couldn't trust myself to sit on the bench with the child anymore, so I sat on the wet, rocky ground, opened my big tan overcoat, and zipped the baby up inside with me. I thought about what it had been like last year, my first on the farm, when Bill and I stayed up to tend the smokehouse together. Hadn't even seemed like work, especially compared to every other chore on the place. We stayed up talking, planning, keeping each other warm. Now I just waited, for the embers to need chips, for the meat to be ready, for the war to be over. I waited to see if a letter from Bill would come, or a telegram to let us know that no more ever would. I heard a noise by the farmhouse and saw May's figure slip out onto the porch. She should have been in bed. The demands of the day would be on her soon enough. But there she was. Came to have a smoke, looked like. Grandpa disapproved of women smoking. Said it wasn't ladylike. After a while, May came over. "Why are you up?" I asked. "Grandpa was listening to war news on the wireless last night," she shrugged. Maybe he thought I couldn't hear. She took a drag from her cigarette. Disturbed my sleep some. We'd kept our fears to ourselves since Bill had left for the Navy. A lot went unsaid between us, but we both knew that he was somewhere in the South Pacific, and anyone who'd picked up a newspaper since D-Day knew that's where the fiercest fighting was now. She'd lost her husband in the last war, and now she must wonder if she'd lose her son to this one. Was she grateful I'd had a girl? Would my girl sit and wonder some night on from now whether or not her beloved would make it home? May sat down right close to me, so the arms of our coats were touching. She eased the cigarette over toward me. I took it. I wondered, if Bill doesn't come back, would I stay here? Add another generation to the links of in-laws and loss. If there's anything this war had taught me, it's how big the world is. So many places a person could go. But it also taught me there's nowhere you can go that's completely safe. The baby taught me that too. Even your own bed can be perilous given the right circumstances. Even your own mind. Last Sunday at church, the preacher said it was a sin for us folks on the home front to fear the worst, as if we could help it. May had mumbled under her breath right there in the pew. At the end of the service, when he told us to go in peace, she just sighed. At the door, he shook our hands and proclaimed, "We must be grateful for all the great gifts the Lord has given us." May looked at her granddaughter in my arms, said, "Amen." I breathed in the unladylike heat from the cigarette, breathed it out away from the baby. My smoke mixed with the air, vanished. I asked, "Is this what keeping calm and carrying on looks like?" May shrugged. "Just keep putting one foot in front of the other? Ain't no alternatives." I handed the cigarette back to her. "This life," she said. "It's like the smoke in there." She gestured to the hut. "Toughens up your fibers." She was right, I supposed, but I couldn't help wondering how long we'd be in the smoke, how long it would take till we cracked. The sun came up over the field and May stood. "Best get the biscuits going. If a black-bordered telegram came today, at least we'd have a good breakfast in us." I asked, "What day is it?" "Tuesday morning now. Think we could get Grandpa to put Fibber McGee and Molly on the wireless tonight?" "Won't change nothing." She flicked the cigarette butt into the grass away from the house and exhaled a long final breath of smoke. "Could sure use a laugh, though." I nodded, smiled. "Yes, ma'am." "Grandpa'll be out soon. Then you two can go in and get warm." We did. And I was grateful. That's it. That's my little 1,000-word story, historical fiction. If you have an idea what I should call it, let me know. Thanks for keeping me company today, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, wait, real quick. I want to show you the woods because they're pretty. Go outside.